It's 1975. A young cardiologist drives out to a remote village in Okinawa, Japan, expecting to find a frail, bedridden elderly patient. Instead, he finds a 100-year-old woman outside in the sun cutting grass with a sickle, not resting, not being cared for, working. That moment launched a 50-year investigation that would eventually connect three Japanese scientists, one Nobel Prize, and a discovery hiding inside every single cell of your body right now, a built in repair system that could literally reverse your biological age. The problem? Most of us shut it down every single day, and we do it without even knowing it. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how to turn it back on, starting tonight. Three Japanese scientists, three completely different fields, 3 decades of research, and they all arrived at the same conclusion. Dr. Makoto Suzuki, the cardiologist who spent 50 years studying Okinawa's centenarians, Dr. Yoshinori Osumi, who won the Nobel Prize in Medicine for discovering your body's most powerful anti-aging mechanism, Dr. Hiromi Shinya, who examined over 300,000 human colons and could predict a person's entire health from what he saw inside their gut. Their discoveries don't just explain why some people live past 100 in extraordinary health. They explain exactly what you can do starting tonight to activate the same biological processes that kept those centenarians farming at 95 and dancing at 100. Let's start from the beginning. It's 1988. Dr. Yoshinori Osumi is in his lab staring through a microscope at yeast cells, and most of his colleagues think he's wasting his time. He's been trying to understand something strange. Sometimes cells appear to eat themselves. Other scientists dismissed it as simple garbage disposal. Osumi had a different instinct. He engineered special yeast cells, then deliberately starved them of nutrients. And what he watched happen under that microscope changed the course of science forever. He saw tiny structures inside the cells behaving like microscopic Pac-Man, systematically consuming damaged cell components and recycling them into clean energy and fresh building materials. He had discovered autophagy. From the Greek, auto meaning self, phagy meaning eating, your body's most sophisticated self-renewal system. This is not simply cellular garbage disposal. It is closer to having a renovation crew operating inside every cell, tearing down what's old, damaged, or dangerous, and rebuilding it stronger. Autophagy doesn't just clean house. It consumes cancer cells in early formation. It breaks down misfolded proteins linked to Alzheimer's. It burns cellular debris that accelerates aging. The scientific world was stunned. Here was laboratory proof that your body carries a built-in fountain of youth. But there was a catch, and this is where everything gets personal. Autophagy only activates when your body believes it's in survival mode. And Osumi quickly realized something remarkable. The ancient eating patterns of Okinawa's longest-lived people were triggering this process every single day, completely by instinct. Back in Okinawa, Dr. Suzuki couldn't stop thinking about that 100-year-old woman with the sickle. He began visiting more elderly residents, and what he found rewrote everything he thought he understood about aging. These weren't people simply surviving into old age, they were thriving in it. At 95, they were still farming their own land. At 100, still dancing at community celebrations. Their arteries, when tested, were cleaner and more flexible than most 50-year-olds. Their cancer rates were among the lowest ever recorded in a human population. No special medications, no expensive interventions. Their secret was something they did 3 times a day, automatically, without even calling it a health practice. Dr. Suzuki discovered they lived by an ancient Confucian principle called Hara, Hachi, Bu. Before every meal, they would quietly remind themselves of one simple rule. Eat until you are 8 parts full. Not stuffed, not even fully satisfied, just comfortably content. And then they stopped. Here's what Suzuki realized was actually happening beneath the surface. By stopping at 80% fullness, these centenarians were creating the precise internal conditions needed to flip the autophagy switch. Their cells experienced just enough caloric stress to trigger the cleanup and repair process without crossing into harm. Think of yourselves like a factory. When you constantly flood your system with food, every worker on the floor is occupied processing incoming materials. There is no time for maintenance, no time for repairs. The damage accumulates quietly. But when you stop at 80%, something shifts. The night crew arrives. They start repairing broken equipment, clearing out waste, rebuilding what's worn down. That is Hara Hachibu, and it's been activating autophagy in Okinawa for generations. Enter Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara, a man who didn't just study longevity, he lived it until the age of 105. Early in his career, Dr. Hinohara noticed a consistent pattern he couldn't ignore. Every patient with serious digestive problems also had problems everywhere else: aged skin, chronically low energy, a weakened immune system. That's when it clicked. The gut is the master switch for everything else. He developed what became his personal life extension protocol, and it wasn't complicated. A light breakfast, a minimal lunch, his main meal in the early evening, and here was the critical detail. He finished eating by 6 p.m. every day and did not eat again until 10 the following morning. 16 hours every night, without exception. Not as punishment, not as a trend, as a deliberate gift to his body's repair systems. The results were extraordinary. At 100 years old, Dr. Hinohara was still seeing patients. At 102, he flew to New York to deliver medical lectures. He routinely worked 18-hour days and described his energy as better than people half his age. When journalists asked his secret, he smiled and gave the same answer every time. I give my body time to clean house every night. Meanwhile, Dr. Hiromi Shinya was making discoveries that shocked the medical establishment. Over a 30-year career, Dr. Shinya examined the colons of more than 300,000 patients. He invented new techniques for viewing the digestive system from the inside, and what he saw allowed him to predict a person's overall health with remarkable accuracy before he even spoke to them. People who ate processed foods, excessive meat, and dairy had colons that were thick, shortened, and visibly inflamed. People who followed traditional Japanese dietary patterns had digestive tracts that were longer, cleaner, and biologically decades younger than their actual age. But here's what truly stunned him. The people with the healthiest digestive systems shared one consistent habit. They regularly gave their gut extended periods of rest. Not fancy diets, not expensive supplements, simply eating within a compressed window and fasting through the night. Dr. Shinya came to understand something that modern gastroenterology is only now catching up to. When you constantly eat, grazing through the day, snacking at night, eating right before bed, your digestive lining never gets the chance to repair itself. The damage accumulates layer by layer. But when you give your gut 14 to 16 hours without incoming food, something extraordinary begins. The cells lining your intestinal wall start regenerating. Your liver initiates its deep cleaning cycle. Your entire body pivots from processing mode into repair mode. 3 scientists, 3 different angles, the same finding. Here is where all 3 discoveries converge into something actionable. Dr. Osumi's Nobel research revealed that autophagy doesn't activate on a random schedule. It follows a specific window, and most people have no idea when it actually peaks. The common assumption is that the magic happens while you sleep, but that's only part of it. The real activation surge occurs in the final hours before you wake up, when your body has been fasting for 12 to 16 consecutive hours. That is when your cellular repair crews shift into their most intensive work phase. The cleanup is deepest. The rebuilding is most aggressive. The anti-aging process is at full power. And here is what modern eating patterns do to that window. We wake up and immediately eat. We send a signal straight to our cells, cancel the repair crew, new shipments are arriving. The Centenarians discovered the opposite approach. They extended that window deliberately, sometimes to 16 or even 18 hours. And during that time, their cells weren't just surviving, they were rebuilding. Dr. Suzuki made another critical observation. The Okinawan centenarians weren't just eating less, they were eating completely differently. While most of Japan relied on white rice as their primary carbohydrate, Okinawans ate purple sweet potatoes. This wasn't cultural preference, it was biological advantage. Purple sweet potatoes sit low on the glycemic index. They don't spike insulin. And elevated insulin is one of the primary signals that shuts autophagy down. By keeping insulin low, centenarians kept their cellular repair systems active longer. Their plates were filled with bitter melon, which contains compounds that regulate blood sugar and support cellular cleanup. Seaweed, rich in minerals that support detoxification. Tofu and fish, vegetables in every color imaginable, each delivering a different class of antioxidant to protect cells during the repair process. And their daily tea ritual wasn't just cultural, it was strategic. Jasmine tea, green tea, and traditional Okinawan blends are loaded with polyphenols that actively support the autophagy process. The ritual of slowly sipping tea throughout the day also served as a natural tool for portion awareness, helping them stay below that 80% threshold without effort. Dr. Hara added one more element to his morning routine that combined everything these scientists understood. He began each day with fresh vegetable juice, carrot or apple, with a tablespoon of olive oil mixed in. The olive oil slowed sugar absorption, preventing the insulin spike that would terminate autophagy. The juice delivered concentrated nutrients without overwhelming a digestive system that had spent all night repairing itself, and he would drink just half a glass, then wait 20 minutes before eating anything solid. A deliberate, gentle transition from the fasted state into the fed state designed to honor both phases fully. Here is the sobering reality that Dr. Suzuki has spent his later years documenting. Younger Okinawans are losing their longevity advantage. As fast food, constant snacking, late night eating, and Western dietary patterns have spread across the island, the health outcomes of younger generations are beginning to mirror those of Americans. The genes haven't changed, the island hasn't moved, only the behaviors changed, and the results followed. This is both a warning and a profound source of hope. If adopting Western habits can erode longevity that took generations to build, then reversing those habits can restore it. The biological systems are still there. They are waiting for the right signal. Your cellular repair crews are ready. They have been ready this entire time. Based on 5 decades of combined research from these 3 Japanese pioneers, here is how to start. In week 1, practice Hara, Hachi, Bu. At every meal, pause before you feel full. Check in with your body. The target feeling is satisfied, not stuffed, content, not sleepy. You should be able to stand up from the table and feel comfortable. You're not measuring, you're not calculating, you're simply learning to listen to signals your body has always been sending. In week 2, extend your overnight fast. Start with 12 hours between your last meal and your first. If you finish dinner at 7 p.m., don't eat again until 7 a.m. Once that feels natural, extend to 14 hours, then 16. Let your body adapt at its own pace. This is not deprivation. It is alignment with rhythms your biology already expects. In week 3, redesign your morning. Resist the immediate impulse to eat the moment you wake up. Start with herbal tea or fresh vegetable juice. A small amount of olive oil mixed in slows any sugar absorption and keeps insulin low, preserving the tail end of your overnight repair window. Wait 20 minutes. Then eat a light, nutrient-dense first meal. Vegetables, healthy fats, quality protein. In week 4, optimize your main meal. Following the Okinawan model, make your primary meal a genuine celebration of whole food. Purple sweet potatoes, leafy greens, seaweed, fish or lean protein in modest amounts, seasoned with turmeric, ginger, and garlic, all of which have been shown to enhance autophagy independently. Eat this meal early enough that your fasting window can begin before 7 p.m. As for what to expect, the changes happen in waves, just as Dr. Suzuki observed in his Centenarians. In the first 7 days, energy levels stabilize, especially in the late afternoon when crashes used to hit. Sleep becomes deeper and more restorative as your body shifts back into its natural repair rhythm. In weeks 2 through 4, mental clarity sharpens noticeably. Brain fog lifts. Skin begins clearing and brightening. Some people notice their clothes fitting differently even without intentional weight loss. Your body is becoming more metabolically efficient. In months 2 through 6, this is where the transformation becomes undeniable. Immune function strengthens. Chronic minor aches begin to fade. People around you start commenting that you look younger, more vital. Energy becomes steady and sustained rather than spiking and crashing throughout the day. Here is what Dr. Suzuki says struck him most. Not the data, not the blood work, not the arterial scans. It was the mindset of the centenarians. They didn't obsess over health. They didn't track biomarkers or chase the newest wellness trend. They simply woke up each morning with purpose, something to do, someone to care for, a reason to remain engaged with life. The Okinawans call this ikigai, your reason for being, and it appeared in nearly every interview Suzuki conducted over 5 decades. Even those with physical limitations spoke with clarity, humor, and unmistakable gratitude. Their bodies aged, their spirit didn't. Dr. Osumi, reflecting on his Nobel Prize years later, observed that the greatest discoveries often come not from forcing outcomes, but from patiently observing nature. Autophagy was never designed to be hacked or triggered artificially. It was designed as a silent guardian, activating naturally when the body was given space rather than excess. And Dr. Hara, until the very end of his 105-year life, refused to use the word retirement. He believed that ceasing to contribute to the world accelerated biological decline faster than any disease. To him, work wasn't stress. It was evidence that his mind still had a role to play. He planned lectures years in advance, fully expecting to be there to deliver them. Longevity is not a single habit. It is a mosaic, small, consistent patterns repeated over time, creating an internal environment where the body can continuously repair, regenerate, and thrive. As of the making of this video, Dr. Makoto Suzuki is still conducting research at 92 years old. He recently took up a new instrument, the 3-string sanshin, because in his words, learning something new is the clearest signal you can send your brain that life is still worth showing up for. The secrets these scientists uncovered are not locked inside expensive clinics or complicated medical protocols. They are available to anyone willing to align with rhythms the human body has always expected: cycles of nourishment and rest, feeding and repair, activity and recovery. Tonight, when you finish your last meal a little earlier than usual, know that you are not simply changing a schedule. You are waking up cellular repair systems that may have been waiting years for this signal. You are joining a tradition that stretches across generations of the world's longest-lived people. Your body already knows how to do this. It has always known. Give it the time, the space, and the conditions, and it will remember. If this opened your eyes to something new, drop a yes in the comments. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And subscribe, because we break down research like this every week in plain language so you can actually use it. I'll see you in the next one.